Hi everyone, in today's video I need to get this huge stone granite sink up on those piers there. It's going to be a mission, but I'm up for it. After all, it only weighs 250 kilos. Shouldn't be too hard, should it now? I also plan to use this more conventional sink alongside for everyday washing up. But first, before I can start getting the sink in, I need to do some preparations. Time to get cracking. To make sure the structure had enough strength, these deep voids needed to be filled with some limecrete. Time to get mixing. Extra strength was added with the use of these metal rods called rebars. This really does lock the whole structure together. That's not going nowhere. But with my over-engineering mind, I started to think, how could I make this that little bit stronger? Oh no, I've got an idea. This should do it, some extra rebar to lock the front of the piers together. Perfect. But first I need to chip out some channels so they don't impede the level of the sink. Nice and level. Now for the other side. That should hold it, but there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Let's get this sink, yep, on my own, up there. I'm up for it. Let's do it. But first I needed to get it up on the higher level. Now this was tricky and did take me quite some time, but I knew how to do it. I just needed to do it safely. That was the main priority on this job. And then it was time for the bar, the big bar. No, not that sort, but this sort. This could get tricky, so I needed to have my wits about me and take my time. At this point, it got stuck. Yep, I had to take my time because I didn't want to damage that newly laid terracotta floor now, did I? So I figured it was time to have a sit down. A quick 5 minutes, then have another go. So with a final push, I finally got it onto those rollers. Now it's much easier to move. Now if you plan to move anything heavy, rollers are an ideal solution. You can use either wood or metal, the choice is yours depending on your materials. Now I don't mind admitting that was rather hot and difficult work, but nevertheless I wasn't going to let it beat me for sure. So the next stage, a block and tackle, which is a chain hoist lift mechanism suspended from the ceiling, some acros and a bit more ingenuity. Now I know lots of you are thinking I wouldn't have gone to the effort, but I personally think it'd be worth it in the end. I've seen quite a few of these in classic farmhouse kitchens, and they do look stunning so. But only time will tell what it looks like in situ. Don't judge it just yet. Wait until everything's all fitted in, then make your mind up. And the floor's still intact. So I've drilled the hole. The props are up, supporting the beams. Now let's just get that in its rightful place. So lifting straps on. Now for the next part. We hook on the block and tackle onto the loop that's passed through the ceiling and through that beam up above that I carried up there. This was a little tricky, but I managed to do it. Well, it's on, but it's got to go on this pier here. So a little bit of manoeuvring. We've got to move that acro out of the way. But pretty much all that hard work has paid off. And then get some mortar on these points, level it up, and then sit it down in its final place. Another hole was drilled. This allowed me to move over the lifting equipment. This way I could get it exactly where I needed it to go. Because it's natural stone, the bottom part of it isn't dead flat. So what I need to do now is work out how much I need to lift the front up, because it will be used as a sink, not for washing up, but for cleaning, because we've got the drainage hole at the back here. So what I'm going to do is have a pipe coming out of there, it'll run round into this compartment here, and I'll just simply have a bucket there. And you know, when I rinse off stuff, dirty stuff, it'll go into the bucket and we'll use that to water the garden with. And then our conventional sink here is going to be fitted into this area here. There'll be a framework underneath, but out of timber this time because it's no real weight compared to the granite one. But we've got a supporting pier here as well. Next job, we're just going to hoist it up a little bit, just so I can get underneath it. Now I've just got to pack this area here up so we get the correct fall on our hole in the sink. Yep, time for a mix. Just until I get it where I need it to be, we'll just chock it up. It's better to be safe than sorry. Now the underside of this sink was fairly uneven, so I needed to make up at least 2 inches. Now that was too much to do with mortar, so I figured that if I inserted a few of these old roof tiles, it would look good and be functional as well. Ultimately, I think the weight will decide. I won't know until I lower it down fully as to where else I'll have to pack out. Okay, let's get that lowered down and see where we end up. So far, so good. Let's get a level on that. Yep, still got to lower down. Okay, so I've re-slung it. Put my straps around this end. I'm going to lift this up now, and then carefully I'll pack out underneath. Take some levels. And don't forget to drop us a comment. It's always lovely to hear from you. Perfect. Perfect. I'm getting good at this perfect game. Okay, right. Is it in the right position? Thumbs up from me. Well, what does it look like from back there? Let's take a look. Ah, yeah. That will look fabulous. I'll keep the tension just slightly on it, just so I can work around and bed it all in. And then I'll take the tension off and then it will sit nicely on it. Wouldn't it be bad if I cracked it now? So I'm not going to mess about with it too much. Just want to get the fall right. Yes, you guessed it right. Time for another mix. I needed to start to level up the face of the blocks. It was going to be done in several layers. I will also need to clean the sink, but this will be done once all the messy work is finished. So as mentioned, this sink, trough, whatever you want to call it, will be for prepping and cleaning. I've got a fantastic tap that I've purchased recently, so we'll just have something like that. Not quite sure of its location yet, so I can wash things, clean stuff off. Who knows, even polish some copper here. But there will be a return wall here coming up, maybe on that side, not quite sure yet. And a return wall once I build it this side. Maybe I'll use those stained glass panels there. Now I do know that it did divide opinion as to whether or not to have this in here. At first I was going to just have that, and then by the time I come to the conclusion of drilling it and all the rest of it and having it as the main sink, that wasn't completely practical, which I conceded. But then the more I looked at it, the more images I see when I was researching it, and they look fantastic in situ. So yeah, I went for it, and yeah, it was hard work, but I got there in the end. And I have got the other usable sink, which is going to be sort of for washing up and things like that. But this one, I thought this one would be just a little bit different. I purchased this online for €25. It will certainly add some character. And on this side, when I have the white sink fitted across here, I think I'll have the washing up section here and the drainer that side. I think this little cubby hole here, that'd be nice for putting some bottles in there, you know. A bit of a mini wine cellar. Just keep nice and cool there. I can have the bucket in that compartment, the wastewater from this sink, and then we've got the conventional waste system going in that side to a pump and then pumped away. That's a drainer for that type of sink. Equally, maybe, I haven't tried it, maybe I can use it in here as well. Yeah, put stuff on there and just naturally drain away into there. Could be an option. Just so rare to find this in one piece. So yeah, okay, right, that's enough dreaming. But that is what keeps you going on these projects. Looking one step ahead and visualising what it could look like, and then you've got to get down to the nitty gritty and do it. I think the next job will be fill this up with a lime mix, and then all this block work will need to be rendered. Now, although I said I'm going to lime render the face of these blocks, it won't really be practical on this plinth across the base here. So I've got to come up with a solution for that. Okay, I think I've got an idea. So we're just doing our first stage of lime render, fill up all the deep voids. Here's that idea I had for the plinth. Now, in keeping with this design, yeah, I've got plenty of these roof tiles. What I'm going to do is lay a band of those across there, that way. When your feet kick upon it, you know it's harder wearing. So I think that's a great idea. Can you see my vision now? Slowly coming together. I know you've got to use your imagination. Not there yet, but I am done for the day on this video. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye for now.